Good evening. My name is Tom Deerdorf, and I'd like to welcome you to the Ride and Walk of Silence on behalf of the Polk Transportation Planning Organization and our partner, Bicycling Lakeland. The Polk Transportation Planning Organization, or TPO, we do traffic planning for Polk County, and our number one priority is improving traffic safety. One of the things we can talk about tonight is how in 2018 there were 101 traffic-related fatalities in Polk County. We can talk about the numbers. We can also talk about how our elected officials, our board, has set a goal for a future where you have zero traffic-related fatalities. And as transportation planners, there's a lot of times that we deal with traffic data and traffic statistics, but one of the things we try not to lose sight of is the fact that behind every statistic is a person's family who misses that person if they are the victim of a traffic fatality. So to start tonight, we'd like to honor and remember those persons who lost their life to traffic fatalities in Polk County in 2018, and then have a moment of silence after that. And we're going to read their first names. Adam, Augustine, Alexander, Emilio, Aaron, Arthur Charles, Ashley, Aiden, Bailey, Benjamin, Chad, Charity Lorena, Charles, Christopher Antoine, Classy, Cobra, Cody, Craig, Daniel, David, Denise, Donna Lee, Eduardo, Edward, Emily, Ernest, Frank, Gloria, Irene, Jack, Jacoya, Jacqueline, Jade Marie, Jamal, James, Jerry Lynn, Jessica Lynn, John, Jose, Joseph, Juan, Judith, Judy, Justin, Kelly Marie, Kenneth, Kevin, Latoya, Lisa, Lindsay, Maria, Martin, Mary, Matthew Glenn, Mackenzie, Michael Adlanier, Olga, Pearl Diana, Raymundo, Reginald, Richard, Robert, Roberto Caesar, Robin, Rosamunda, Salvador, Sydney, Cindy, Susan, Tammy, Tanisha, Terrence, Thaddeus, Vicky, Warren, Wayne, Willard, William, Willie, Wyatt, Xavier, and Yasmin. And if we could have a moment of silence to honor and remember those who lost their lives. Thank you. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Mayor Mutz to give us a more formal introduction.
Thank you, sir. Good evening. I am sobered when I think about those names. Just think of every one of those that has a family attached to it. Every one of those, the huge interruption of life that took place. And those are the fatalities. There are also many people who have been injured that are still living with consequences from those injuries. So having great traffic planning, which Tom does an absolute fabulous job leading a team of people for our county in this regard, and for whom we are greatly indebted. But having a great traffic planning system in place is the beginning. making sure that we put crosswalks where we need to put crosswalks, because when we really think about zero fatalities, we're thinking about not only the bicycle fatalities, but pedestrian fatalities, anything that creates a fatality, we want to try and work to eliminate. There is a program in the United States called Vision Zero, which we're getting closer to being able to implementing here and making sure that we work to comply. But the cities who really start to focus on this and really start to work on reducing the risks by putting in appropriate protections on an increasing basis, watch their numbers dramatically decline over the years. So Vision Zero cities and the Vision Zero county really can make a huge difference in the way we have results that protect people. So I would encourage you, if you have an opportunity to help support that effort or hear about it, to get more information so that can be part of what we do. On a city basis, we want to thank you for taking the time to think about others and to think about the people who have lost their lives as you join us together this evening. And to do your part, we appreciate you doing your part in making sure that people are aware, just from the standpoint of pausing to take this time out, of the vulnerabilities that incur. I am also joined by a fellow commissioner, Scott Franklin, who's in the back, and Scott is a writer as well, and so he provides us great input on the commission side to the kinds of things that need to be done in the city, even as we increase the trails through the city and all that kind of thing. So thank you very much, and I appreciate the opportunity to be with you this evening.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm Tina Mann. I'm with the Polk Transportation Planning Organization, and I am here to talk to you a little bit more about the education side of TPO. As Tom mentioned, we are working towards a goal of zero fatalities, and a big component of that is educating the public on different safety items. One of the things we have done is we created a award-winning campaign, PSA campaign about the importance of driving slower and slowing down. As you can see on my shirt, it says pledge to slow down. So we have asked people to take that pledge to educate themselves on the risks of driving fast and paying attention and slowing down. So we're talking about driver safety right now. So another component of that is not driving distracted. And distracted is on your cell phone. It can even be daydreaming or eating food or putting on your makeup or arguing with your kids. I know I've been very guilty of that. But what I wanted to focus on mostly tonight is what people can do as a pedestrian or a bike rider to keep themselves safe. One of the things that people need to know is how to be seen at night. So, what do you think is the best color to wear at night to be seen? Any guesses? White? Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you, if you're wearing black or blue, you can only be seen from 55 feet away. If you are in red, you can only be seen 80 feet away, which surprised me because I always thought red was a very bright color. If you are wearing yellow, you can only be seen from 120 feet. And white, you were right, you can be seen from 180 feet. The best thing, however, to wear is something that is reflective, because something that is reflective, you can be seen from 500 feet away. Now, this is going to be important. Keep that in mind when we talk about the next part. How many feet do you think that it takes a car going 30 miles an hour to stop? Any guesses? It takes 75 feet to stop at 30 miles an hour. At 50, only 20 miles more, it takes 175 feet. And at 60 miles per hour, it takes 260 feet to stop. So let's review. If somebody's going 30 miles per hour, if they're wearing black or blue, they're not going to be seen. 30 is slow. So if you're out on the road and you're wearing a blue or black shirt, the likelihood is you're not going to be seen until it's too late. At 50 miles per hour, the only thing that's going to be seen is white or reflective. And at 60 miles per hour, the only way you're going to be seen is if you're wearing something reflective. And it's also important to note that a person who is hit by a car going 55 miles an hour only has a 20% chance of survival. So they're either going to be incredibly seriously hurt or they're not going to be around. And for every 10 miles per hour over that, their risk doubles. So we're now talking they almost have no risk whatsoever. So it's really important to let people know that if they're going to be walking or if you're going to be out there at night, to wear reflective clothing. Does anybody have a guess as to during the day what you should be wearing? Think construction workers. Fluorescent. We have a fluorescent orange and a fluorescent green in the crowd. You guys would have the best chance of being seen at night. So a couple other safety tips. If you're walking, always make sure that you walk against traffic. Walk left, bike right. So when you're biking, you're following the rules of the road. You need to be riding on with the traffic. You also want to use sidewalks and crosswalks whenever possible. And when approaching an intersection, you always want to look left, look right, and then look left again. And you want to pay special attention to driveways or intersections and anticipate what the cars are doing. If there's any question at all, you shouldn't go. So those are some safety tips. As I said, you can check out pledgetosslowdown.com, take the pledge, watch the videos, and if you ever have any ideas for TPO that you think would be a good one, we're always welcome to public comment. And we have a special sergeant here today, Sergeant Bassett with the Polk County Sheriff's Office. He's with the Traffic Homicide Unit. And he's going to be providing the sheriff's perspective on traffic fatalities. So.
Thank you. On behalf of Sheriff Judd, we're very honored that you would have us here today. The sheriff couldn't make it. He is actually in Washington, D.C. this week for Police Week, so he just wanted to make sure that you understood. He would have liked to have been here, but he had some other obligations that he had to attend to. Like they said, I'm the supervisor of our Traffic Homicide Unit. I go to virtually every fatal or serious crash that we have that's worked by the sheriff's office in the unincorporated areas. We have a 23-member traffic unit at the sheriff's office, which encompasses enforcement deputies, DUI deputies, and our traffic homicide detectives. It's sad that we actually have 6 full-time deputies that do nothing but follow up on fatal traffic crashes. That's all they do. That's a lot of people. But when, again, we average 100 a year, we're overworked. They each carry about 16 or 17 cases apiece on average, and it takes anywhere from 4 to 6 months to work each individual crash. The sheriff is very committed to traffic, to trying to reduce traffic crashes. He takes a personal interest in it. He comes out almost every initiative we have and many of the fatals crashes that we go to. He comes out and actually to see what's going on and to try and learn about it. And one of his first questions always is, have we notified the family? He is more worried about the families because that is who is really affected by crashes like this. And that's one of the hardest things for our traffic deputies to have to do is to go tell the family. That is, I've actually had to do some of that myself. Families walk up to a scene, and I can't describe how hard that is. That is one of the hardest things that we do. And so we like to have people keep that in mind in their driving, that you have a family, and safety above all else when you're driving. We preach it. That's why we have traffic initiatives. We want, and the sheriff is adamant. I don't know how many of you have probably seen, sometimes they're on Facebook or maybe in the paper occasionally, but you see the deputies' cars lined up along the side of the highways, 5, 6, 8 of them, all stopped cars. The sheriff says, I want you to make a big, loud statement that we're out here and we need people to slow down. He's very in touch with it. I get calls from him pretty regular. Mike, on I-4, they're driving crazy again. I want you to get some guys out there and slow them down. Highway 60. all of those. He really wants us to try and slow traffic down. At the same time, he likes to make a statement. It's Sheriff Judd. He believes in putting people in jail, and he is all about prosecuting the people that are breaking the law when they're driving. And we have, when I started 6 years ago at the sheriff's office, we'd have 1 in 10 cases that may have been a criminal where somebody was breaking the law when they crashed and killed somebody. Now we're at almost half. So we have a big problem with it. I don't know if you know, like 1 in 10 drivers in the state of Florida are driving with a suspended license right now. That's a really high figure. And probably the last thing I want to let you all know is, you see the deputies or the officers out on the scene working a fatal crash, and it's hard for them. It's really hard for them because you are seeing people. And if you don't go out on one of these crashes, cars do terrible things to people's bodies. They really do. Just the last one I worked, we couldn't make an identification because, there was just too traumatic an injury. We had to do it by fingerprints. And these deputies have to see this an average of almost twice a week. We have to go to these type crashes. And it builds up on them, and especially with the kids. I've had one of my deputies one time. It was a 9-year-old girl that was killed in a crash, and he came to me before the autopsy that morning. He said, "Sarge, my daughter's 9. She goes to the same school." He says, "I can't go. I can't go." And I said, "You're right. You can't. We'll get somebody else." And one of his partners covered for him. But it does touch these guys. And a lot of people complain, well, they didn't give me a warning. That traffic deputy didn't give me a warning. Well, they go out there every day and see the tragedy of that. And they are truly committed to try and reduce these crashes. And that's why they're not going to give a break. They want to teach a lesson. They want people to slow down. They want people to pay attention. And so that's kind of about all I have. I'm open. If anybody has any questions about law enforcement or anything like that, or crashes, please ask. Yes, ma'am.
Curious, if anyone knows, how does Polk County weigh against other counties as far as annual fatalities?
We are pretty bad. Actually, there was the Lakeland Winter Haven area was just named the 5th most dangerous area in the nation for pedestrian crashes. We're 5th. Florida is the most dangerous state, and I think 8 of the top 10 places are all in the state of Florida. So we have a bad problem with especially pedestrian crashes. Polk County, I think we're probably in the top 8 percentage-wise for fatal crashes. I know we're up there. I don't have an exact figure, but we're a pretty dangerous county, and there's a whole lot of factors you can talk that go into that. Yeah. Well, for pedestrian bicycle crashes, we're still a pretty rural county. There's a lot of fairly high-speed roads that people walk on and bicyclists are on. At the same time, we're kind of a little bit lower income county, so a lot of people don't have the opportunity to drive, and our county infrastructure hasn't caught up. We don't have sidewalks along all the roads, and we don't have lighting along all of them. But I will say, I'm actually on the county's sidewalk and street lighting advisory committee. The county has actually doubled their effort to try and improve sidewalks and street lighting, so they see the problem. The sheriff's office sees the problem. So they're taking steps, but we're a dangerous county to be in. I personally don't walk on roads in this county unless there's a sidewalk. I actually sold my motorcycle after I was in this job for a while, just seeing so many motorcycle crashes and what happens. I don't even ride a motorcycle anymore. So again, it affects me. It even affects me. So we're a dangerous county. Anybody else got any questions? Well, I appreciate you coming out and listening to me. Hopefully I didn't take too long. So
Thank you. His mention of the Sidewalk Advisory Committee is actually a perfect segue to our next guest. Daniel Barajas is with the Young Dreamers, who were integral in actually getting a sidewalk put in at Tenor Rock High School. So I'm honored to have him speak today.
Thank you very much. I apologize for the little bit of a pause. Just got a lot of feelings coming back right now. But it's an honor, it's a privilege to be here. And to see how much has changed in Polk County. My younger sister, Maria Isabel Barajas Martinez, passed away in a traffic accident, June 24th, 2012, on a curve that was absolutely notorious for traffic accidents. So much so that it was actually a first responder who lived on that curve. And after trying to help my sister, sold the house and moved because the state not only knew, but refused to repair the road that they knew wasn't fixed, and they approved it. Also, I'm here with, as it was said, it's more than a statistic, it's more than a name. I'm actually here with also one of the families. Rosa, doña Cindy, por favor, se puede parar con los hijos. This is Mrs. Hernandez and her 3 children, youngest children. I know it's a little bit hard right now. Her son, Enrique Hernandez, was not the first, not the second, not the third student who was hit by a vehicle. He was the second to be hit and killed walking at Tenor Rock High School due to a lack of a collaboration between the school board and the county. And as I say, I apologize for the pauses, but there's just so many mixed feelings right now. Because I had to go with these children and this family before the Board of County Commissioners. And I said, what can we do? What can we do for some sort of safety while these students walk to school, while these people walk to the bus stop, while they walk to the stores? And the response of one of the county commissioners, who did not want to put a sidewalk out there, his response was, well, tell them to wear brighter colored clothing. And I asked the county commissioner, I said, I'm willing to walk down that road with you if you accompany me in bright colored clothing. And he refused. Then I had another county commissioner who's, and I will say it, unfortunately, in our state legislature, a county commissioner who actually, at a county commission meeting, lashed out at me, upset, because we were getting too many people were calling her, asking for sidewalks in her district as well. My hand's actually shaking just remembering all this. Then they said, well, show us that the community wants it. So we went out and collected over 5,600 signatures in less than a month. So the next county commission meeting, we were there. And I presented them. I said, what next? We went to Tallahassee, visited over 80 legislators. Went all the way to Washington, D.C. It was a federal issue. They said it's a state. We know that. But we're getting, they say follow the chain of command. And we did. And then it got built. It took 3 years. And they told us that it would cost, first they said it would cost $1 million. Then they said it would cost $2 million. Then they said it would cost $4 million. It actually ended up, I'm not sure, remember how much it came out to, but they ended up having money left over to continue building sidewalks. I wish our people had the luxury, and when I say our people, I'm talking about the disenfranchised, low income. Knowing I was coming here today, it started these feelings. As I left our neighborhood and came into these neighborhoods that have the sidewalks, that have the bicycle lanes, that have trails. We don't have the luxury of selling and moving somewhere else. Our group, the Young American Dreamers, our responsibility is to put pressure on those who tell us how much we need them to represent our communities and help our communities improve. But after the votes, what happens? We get put on the back burner. So the motto for the Young American Dreamers is tomorrow's leaders taking action today, because we're not gonna wait. We'll defend our families. We'll defend our communities. And then actually sit there and be at a meeting and be told that the Sidewalk Advisory Committee was created because of our work. That's a beautiful legacy after some tragedies, because we have to. We have to, show our love and our respect with action. We can't sit. I sat there when I buried my little sister and I said, rest in peace, rest, because your big brother's got this now. So we have to honor our loved ones with actions. And we have to show that our communities matter. If we can't get something as simple as a sidewalk so students can walk to school, then I don't know what anybody's doing in any position we have out there. Children are the future. Let's show them that we care. I was stunned after a traffic accident where a young man was walking to another high school and he was hit by 3 vehicles. I was stunned when I learned that Florida Statute 1006.23 says that by definition, nobody in the state of Florida is considered a student after they exceed the grade level 6, meaning we are no longer responsible for their safety. So guess what? We took that to Tallahassee too. And unfortunately, it's been a long fight. This is a sigh of relief to see where we've come, but there's still a long way to go. And I asked that, next year for an event like this, for this event, everybody commit themselves to bringing at least 5 more people. Do that pledge to slow down. Make it more than just a little brand and a little feel-good thing that we do. Let's spread that as a movement. Polk County is my home, born and raised here. And I've always said it. I will do anything and everything I can. I'm not worried about city lines, county lines, congressional lines, House of Representatives, the Senate. It's Polk County to me. And to know a lot, and I know a lot more statistics about Polk County, that it's just mind-blowing. But to know that there's people that want to help us improve this and keep this going, it means the world to me. Because I've buried too many people. I buried 16 in 2 years. And I have to show these kids, I show them. I had a congressman ask me one time. He goes, why should I listen to you? Why should I listen to you with your record? And I sat there and I'm like, I am so grateful that you asked that, because it's sad when the community follows me before they follow you. Because I am from the community and I won't leave my community. I'm here. And in anything that I can help, that we can help back it up, as most businesses say with pride now, yo hablo español. I'll help you merge those barriers and those lines. Yo hablo español, and I know people that speak Creole, and whatever it takes. We just have to, number one, be shown that we're welcome at the table. And number two, shown that it's more than just a little symbolic position. Listen to us. Because we're the ones getting killed. We don't have the luxury of getting up and moving. So we have to work to improve our communities. Thank you.
Thank you. Just remember all those names we read. And what we're going to do now, at least in a few minutes, closer to 7 o'clock, we're going to start here and we are going to do a walk or ride of silence, whichever mode of transportation you choose to do. If you're doing the walk, we're actually going to go down to the roundabout. We're going to follow all appropriate safety measures to make sure that everybody stays safe. We're actually going to walk down to the light and back. That's the route that we've mapped out. It's a short walk that should be fairly easy for everybody. And then I think the ride is going to continue around the lake twice. But we ask that you do that in silence and take the time to think about and remember those that we have lost and how we're going to reduce those in the future. As you walk down the path, we have written all of the names of the people that we lost in 2018 that were read, so that everybody who walks around the lake, they might not know what it is, but at least they'll see them and they'll be remembered. So I thank you guys for coming out today. Does anybody else have anything to add or want to say? She has a poem she would like to share, which is awesome.
Thank you. Tonight we number many, but ride as one, in honor of those not with us, friends, mothers, fathers, sisters, sons. With helmets on tight and heads down low, we ride in silence, cautious and slow. The wheels start spinning and the lead pack, but tonight we ride and no one attacks. The dark sunglasses cover our tears, remembering those we held so dear. Tonight's ride is to make others aware the road is there for all to share. To those not with us or by our side, may God be your partner on your final ride.
Marcha en silencio. Somos muchos esta noche, pero marchamos como un solo hombre. En honor de padres, madres, amigos y hijos que ya no tienen nombre. Con el casco bien calado y la cabeza agachada, marchamos en silencio, prudente la mirada. En cabeza oigo ruedas, su recorrido comenzar, pero hoy solo marchamos, nadie quiere atacar. Disimulen nuestras lágrimas, las gafas oscuras, recordando a nuestros seres queridos con ternura. La marcha de esta noche es para otros advertir que las carreteras son y están para compartir. Para aquellos que con nosotros no están, que Dios los acompañe en la marcha final.